You've done the hard part, went for the cold approach. Now what? This is a full walkthrough on what to say over the phone and how to never run out of things to say. Now, phone calls are a powerful tool, but one that needs to be used strategically. You hear a lot of stuff in the red pill guru community, such as you shouldn't text her back and forth, or keep it to one text minimum, and that you should limit the interactions to phone calls. Now, there are circumstances where a phone call makes sense, but today women are generally more accustomed to texting than talking on the phone, especially with younger girls. They may have grown up with most of their interactions being on the screen, on Snapchat, rather than through a call. I know a lot of guys who stick to phone calls for interactions. They're actually good at bringing their personality on the phone and building massive comfort and trust, making the girl get excited to meet him. But there are plenty of cons to using the phone as well, especially for guys who are fairly new to dating apps and text game. So, why are phone calls powerful? Number one, building trust. It builds trust and comfort. With a phone call, she can get a feel for you quite quickly, and you can tell how much more easily she's interested over the phone rather than over text. In that case, the phone call presents you with better opportunities to display your value, DHV, which we'll get into later in the video. And if you get the sense she's not as interested and more likely to flake you, it leaves you the ability to make backup plans for the day of the meet. In short, a well done phone call can build massive amounts of trust very quickly. Second one, getting more personal. It just lets you get more personal with her. A phone call unlocks the ability for her to hear your voice, which is considerably more personal than just texting her, as she's got a voice to match to the guy on Tinder, not just some text. And it allows you to vibe or live in a way you couldn't otherwise until you meet. This allows her to kind of know what to expect in meeting you. As a result, there's less of a chance she'll get nervous on the day of the date. Girls do get nervous about dates out of uncertainty and overthinking. However, getting her on a phone call can cut this down. Third one, projecting tonality. Phone calls do help project tonality. It can be very hard to read the intent of a message over text. So, for example, you're being light-hearted over text, but the girl takes it the wrong way and she's getting defensive. These kinds of things are much easier to project through tonality. And of course, tonality can only be projected over the phone or through voice notes. Now, here are some drawbacks of phone calls. Number one, deflating mystery. Phone calls can deflate some of the mystery or intrigue. A woman likes to have some element of mystery or intrigue about the guy she's getting to know. This makes for a more exciting emotional journey for her. If you exchange too much logical information over the phone, all of this mystery can get lost. This leaves no intrigue for the girl to want to show up to the date. It can be very hard to manage her tangents when girls do talk on the phone. They do like to chit chat. There's a high likelihood that she will chat your ear off. This runs counter to an ideal interaction, where you are leading the conversation forward in an optimal direction. You'll need to cut her off to take back the frame and ensure the call stays on point. This is more easily done in person and more difficult over the phone. And of course, over text, it's either not a problem or even easier to manage. Second one, experience. It can be hard to work to your benefit if you're experienced with phone game. If your phone game is not on point and you aren't that great at building a good vibe over the phone, then it's very possible you actually hurt your chances of her meeting up with you. Phone game is very hard on its own, but each of the points above are critical to having strong phone game. Third one, getting awkward and thinking on your feet. Phone calls can get awkward. A lot of girls find it awkward to talk to someone over the phone. Again, remember, many girls have infrequently used this form of communication, as they did grow up and they're mostly relying on texting or being on Snapchat or Instagram. So they might find it weird if you're trying to talk to her on the phone. In these cases, the girl may take the path of least resistance and just ghost you. And don't take that personally, guys. They're just scared and don't know what to do. Another reason is you don't have time to think. You don't have the time to think before you say something over the phone. If you're inexperienced at thinking on your feet, it's also much harder to look at the frames that are being played. On the other hand, over text, you can take your sweet time to come up with the best or most optimum text to handle the situation. So, when do we get girls on a phone call? There are certain circumstances where it will be much more optimal if we get the girls on the phone, such as if she's a bad texter. You will match with some Tinder girls who are just terrible texters or barely ever check their messages. Some of these are just time wasters which you'll aim to screen out, but some are just legit shit at texting. Now don't take this personally. Instead, offer a phone call. When she does this with I'm a terrible when she does do that, you could reply with I'm a terrible texter as well. Let's hop on a phone call for like 5 minutes and sort this out. Pro tip, the 5 minutes part is a false time constraint since it conveys you won't be a guy who awkwardly sits there and talks at ear for 30 minutes. And yes guys, it's double standards, I know. Number 2, addressing concerns. She has a strong concern that you need to address. Let's say you invite a girl for a bottle of wine and she gives you some variation of the "I don't really know you that well" concern. You're really not feeling the public date for whatever reason, so you'd rather try to address the concern and get her to come straight to yours. You can send something like, "Why don't we hop on a quick phone call? This way I can make sure you're not a serial killer either." Oftentimes a call can help address her concerns, guys. Number 3, not knowing what to text. You don't know what to text. If you're new to online dating or you just struggle what to say over text, a phone call can be very helpful. This of course assumes you are more comfortable at leading a call than a text, of course. Otherwise a call can blow up in your face and fuck you up even worse than sending the wrong text. In any case, we definitely recommend you take the time to review our texting framework so you don't get stuck as often. 4th one, being flaky. You get a sense she's flaky about the date. You soft and hard close her and she agrees to the date at your place. Still, you have this feeling that she's going to flake or at least isn't totally invested or interested in you. A phone call that builds up investment and comfort can be one of the best ways to help reduce the chance that she flakes. Now guys, here are some phone call scripts. What's up? How have you been today? Right guys, you can pause the screen and just read this. Let's get into the special lines. My dog was barking when she heard your voice. I think she likes you already. And yeah, you don't actually need a dog. You can just get one off Google or your friends or some shit like that. You seem giggly. Sounds like you're loving me. You must be a lightweight. You're the type of girl to drink 2 drinks then get your friends to look after you. You'd fuck up my car seats, but since you're wifey material, you'd clean it. What's your love language? Let me guess. You love getting choked. You haven't been on many dates, so I have to make it special. You may be a little trouble, but this date will be the best day of your life. You gotta be more committed, otherwise you'll be scrolling on Tinder forever. I only take quality women out on dates. You're special. I'd ask what your favourite colour is, but I'd rather know your favourite position. Do you take hot or cold showers? My dog does need a mum, and say her name. Do you know how to cook? Can't wife you up if you don't. But yeah guys, these are just some lines that you can screenshot and use if you get stuck. And yeah, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Let me know what else you'd like to see. And yeah.